Hi, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Vishal. How are you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, sir. So, we have Dr. Atul Sharma, who's the academic head at Sunstone University with the team of College Dunia. I am Vishal. I lead the content team here, and I will be in touch with you regarding certain questions and queries, and we'll be understanding your point of view on certain topics that can help us and also guide the students who are looking forward to join the university.
Okay.
All right. So we'll begin with the very first question, which is going to be about your experience in the field of education. So, sir, you've held key positions at educational institutes throughout your professional career. What are the key factors that kept you connected with the education sector?
Okay. Now that's a very long answer if I have to answer it from the beginning when I got connected to education. But I'll briefly mention it. I was in Loyola School, Jamshedpur, and in class 8, we were all part of the Interact Club, which is run by the Rotary Clubs. So, as vice president of Interact Club, we opted for an activity where we went to an orphanage and tutored those students. So we taught them mathematics, we taught them English, we taught them a lot of other subjects. And I think it was in class 8. That is also a time when you look up to your teachers a lot, while you're in school. So that is where my connect with education began as such. And I started enjoying helping others learn. And then during my journey at BITS Pilani, I created a course in theatre art, acting and production that was a 3-unit humanities elective. As a student, I was course in charge and giving people grades. So while I was a student, I wrote a book, I created a course. So my connect with education actually goes back to my school days, to my college days. And even when I was working as an engineer, I was always involved in conducting management development programs at XLRI in Jamshedpur, where we live, and Tata Management Development Center, Management Training Center for Telco. So I've been in education for a very, very long time. But from about 2004 onwards, this became my full-time profession.
Okay.
And why do I remain in education? Why did I come into education? Because the corporate jobs paid much more. There was much more money to be made everywhere else. But then this probably was my calling, and this is something that I love and enjoy doing.
Right.
So that is why I remain connected, because if I didn't get joy here, then why would I remain here?
Absolutely.
And one of the first persons I worked for, he asked me, he said, "You are coming into this. Do you really love this? Because there's no money in this. And you're already in a profession which gives you a lot of money." I said, "Yes, sir, I'm coming into it because I want to and I love to." So that's what keeps me connected. And then being with young people like you, Vishal,
Thank you so
keeps
much.
you young. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm glad we have people such as you in the field of education. Great. So that was very enlightening. We'll move on to the second question, which is going to talk about the curriculum of Sunstone Eduversity in particular. So, how does the curriculum of Sunstone Eduversity ensure the best practices of industry?
See, Vishal, what's happening in the industry is, there are a lot of colleges that are affiliated to universities in the states. So these state universities, they give their own syllabus and these colleges would follow that curriculum. There are others who have the independence to create their own curriculum, but they don't want to spend much time or money on creating a curriculum because they borrow the curriculum from somewhere, follow some university, mix and match, and that's how the curriculum goes. But we need to understand that the curriculum is the route to learning. Through the curriculum, we take the student, on that journey of learning. And fortunately, Sunstone is an institution which actually realizes the importance of a current and industry ready curriculum. So here we have a complete curriculum development department, which is 24/7 involved in curriculum development. And we are directly connected to industry. When something is developed, it is also sent to industry stalwarts and leaders for vetting. And there is a two-way communication going on all the time with industry, where industry continues to engage with us regarding their needs, regarding their requirements, and even what they would require in the near or far future. So this keeps our curriculum very, very industry integrated. It keeps our curriculum very current. I'll give you a small example. When TikTok was trending everywhere, in our digital marketing curriculum, we had TikTok. Now, the moment TikTok was banned, TikTok was removed from the curriculum. Now, I'm sure Koo will find mention and we'll be studying Koo. So this is the kind of a curriculum we have where the turnaround time is very little, which is always agile, which is always ready to pivot, which is always connected to the various stakeholders. And based on that, we are able to come out with a very, very wonderful curriculum that actually creates industry-ready professionals, because this is easier said than done. And that's why we are able to create people who are able to go to industry and start delivering from day one, who hit the ground running.
Right. So this definitely is going to help out students, because when they'll be watching this interaction, they'll have an understanding that okay, the university or the course curriculum that I'm looking forward to is actually industry specific and is as per the trends of the needs of the today's demands and skills.
Absolutely.
Great, fantastic, sir. Thank you. We'll move on to the next question now. So, which subjects do you teach, and how does your subject or teaching help students in achieving their goals?
Okay. See, I'm a trained civil engineer from BITS Pilani. And then I loved English so much that I went and did an MA in English. And I did my MBA, PhD, everything.
Wow.
But because my love was in communicating, because theater is something where you are communicating. And theater taught me a lot of communication, how to communicate well, how to help others communicate. So business communication is my core area. Though I also teach business ethics, cross-cultural management, cross-cultural communication, integrated marketing communication, a lot of other subjects, and all the HR subjects I can teach. But this happens to be my specialization, where I engage with the students in trying to make them the best versions of themselves. See, communication is something which runs like a thread through every relationship in life and through every situation in life. You cannot, the moment you take away communication from life, then life is hollow. There's no life.
Right. Absolutely.
Apart from the life that we have, communication is the life, everything. So today these social media platforms are what? Communication sharing, communication platforms. So that's where I come in, and that is where I try to make a difference, not just to see this vocabulary part or accent part is the superficial part.
Right.
Vocabulary is not superficial, but vocabulary is dependent upon so many other things. How much you have read, how much you are using language in what you do. So the most important thing is how to think.
Right, sir. Absolutely.
Because all relationships are based on how you approach those relationships through your thoughts and feelings. So once you learn how to think, then you have to learn how to structure your thoughts. That is where then the grammar, the vocabulary, the mechanics of writing, everything else comes in. So I try to take my students one or two steps back and get them thinking along the right lines, along the right directions, where you are oriented towards your receiver, all those things, And that also is a life-changing experience for some, because it changes the way they look at the world.
Right. Absolutely. Great.
So that's where my subject makes a difference in their lives. It is
I
the
feel
lifeblood of organizations.
I feel glad, sir, that you so much connected to your subject, and how much impact your teachings and your methods are making on the lives of students. That's something that is very rare to find these days. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So, moving on, the next one. What do you think should be the management education sector's top priority over the next 10 years?
See, if we talk about the management education sector, this sector has been reeling for quite some time in India. If you say, if you look at all the part-time distance learning and everything combined, there would be about 3 lakh plus management graduates, going out into the market every year. Now, out of that, how many are actually employable?
Yes.
I'm not even saying how many find a job, but I am saying how many are actually employable. So what lies at the root? Those are the challenges that we need to overcome, which have become almost perennial. See, there is a very big shortage of good faculty members. There is a huge disconnect between present day industry needs and your curriculum. There is a great lack of professional experience for management people who are pursuing any of these degrees, because in engineering, we went for 9 months of internship. I was in a very good institution, BITS Pilani, where they gave these things and they were known as practice school. Now, management students, see, medicine, engineering, management, these are all to be practiced. You call it a professional degree. Now, how many management professionals practice management before going out of the institution? This is a deep challenge. Sunstone gives 9 months of full internship in the second year, and in the summer of first year, you get 8 to 10 weeks.
Right.
This year, when the pandemic was there, our students had their internships lined up, summer internships, but because of the lockdown and everything, each student got a virtual work from home internship.
Wow.
Some of them 2 internships, some of them 3 internships. So imagine the kind of experience that they gained even during the pandemic.
Right.
So this is a deep challenge. And then there is a challenge of research and quality publications. So these are some of the challenges. We need to continuously reinvent ourselves. We need to continuously try to meet these challenges. So, getting students to be industry ready, getting industry to be student ready, where they are, a lot of industry would say that give me a good graduate from Delhi University, one of the good colleges. I don't want an MBA. Usko kuch aata hi nahi.
Yeah, that's true.
So these are the challenges. We need to reinvent ourselves, and we need to get back the respect for this kind of a degree.
Right. I completely resonate with you on this, being a management graduate myself. I understand the gap between the needs and how the skills the students are being taught. And, I completely resonate with the fact that a lot of hands-on experience has to be provided to students before they actually enter the industry and start working. So that's fantastic. That's fantastic, sir. Great. Thanks. We'll now move on to the next question, which is the question number 5. When you first came to Sunstone University, what was your vision for the university? Has it evolved over time? And how far along in implementing that vision are you?
See, before Sunstone, I was with Times Pro. If you've heard of Times Pro, it's by the Times of India Group, and we were at Bennett University.
Wow.
And Times Pro is also a program which gets you placed. So I was already having some background. And when I came here, and then see, this is a unique thing, pay after placement. So when I came into Sunstone, the vision was that here each child, so the institution has taken accountability for the student's success, for the student's future. Unless the student gets placed, we don't get paid. So this was an amazing thing. And the entire focus was actually on where the focus should be,
Yes.
on the success of the student. It's not about me knowing more and knowing less, or teaching well or teaching badly. Whatever makes the student succeed is what works. So the very focus, completely changed, and I felt that this is a program where you should have thousands and thousands of students registering and going out with jobs in their hands, industry ready.
All right, sir. So we'll now move on to the next question, which is question number 5. When you first came to Sunstone University, what was your vision for the university? Has it evolved over time? And how far along in implementing that vision are you?
When I came into the university, it was a pay after placement model, which is a model in which I'm working for the first time. So this is the first institution which actually takes accountability for the success of the student after the program. Now our co-founders, Mr. Ashish Munjal, Mr. Piyush Nangru, they have taken this vision to great heights. They have expanded it. They have pushed the frontiers so much. Now today, the kind of things that happen in Sunstone to ensure student success are huge. And a student who would have got placed at 15,000 rupees, if he comes to Sunstone or if she comes to Sunstone, they'll pass out and they'll get a job which is worth 25,000-30,000. Now, where are you going to get this kind of a value add? So I came in with a vision that we need to make every student placeable. But when I came in, and as I am going now, that vision is a very small vision. But the vision these guys have is a very huge, expanded and industry-changing vision. So
Yes.
more power to Ashish Munjal, Piyush Nangru, who are doing a great job, and of course to Team Sunstone.
Absolutely, sir. This is something that even we have heard for the first time, getting onus onto yourselves and bringing accountability, wherein you'll not have to focus on just a particular set of students, but to ensure your own revenue streams and your own success, you have to ensure that each and every student gets placed in the best of the manner, and that will only happen when they're trained in the best of the manner.
Absolutely.
Great, sir. Thank you. Now, moving on, the next question. What would you like people to know about your university they may not know?
I would like them to know that in this Eduversity, for every function, there are a huge amount of people working for student success. Let me give you a very small example. Curriculum development is a big team working on curriculum full time. Corporate Resource Center, there are a huge number of people who are connected to industry all the time, who are trying to get you guest lectures, who are trying to get you internships, placements. So this is not a setup where you have one placement officer looking after 400 students. No. Here you have so many placement officers, you have so many curriculum developers, and training and development is one of the most important areas for students, where the student actually is able to, through that, exhibit what they learned. So here we have a huge training and development team. And last but not the least, the way we teach, our academics are conducted in a way where you learn to apply things. It's not theory that you mug up and pass an exam. You've got to apply concepts here.
Right.
If there is a lecture, the lecture is followed by a worksheet where you actually work on whatever's been taught. So today, if I give you a lecture on emails, oh, this is an email and this is etiquette and that is that, and you don't write emails, then what's the use? So immediately you'll write an email on different situations. So this is the cutting edge of management education. This is the real difference. That's the real deal that you are getting.
Right. So basically, you set up a mechanism wherein the students they go through an engagement-based approach of education. Then to check how much they've retained, they're also doing worksheets and absolutely used by the hands-on activities and internships that you
absolutely. To improve their English, a course called English R, that's a non-credit course, was started where a student would post his or her videos. There would be other things, there would be other exercises. So you get familiar with the English language. So there are so many innovative things going on. And it's evolving every day.
Yes, absolutely. You're basically preparing the students that the industry needs. You're basically training them in an overall holistic approach. So that
yes. And if we find that the students are lacking in a particular area, then our teams get into a huddle and find a solution to that problem and apply that. So this is, the speed with which we are able to find solutions.
Great, sir. Identification and filling of gaps in a very fast manner is something that Sunstone University practices, for sure. Great, sir. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next question. What are some of the biggest challenges you see, both for higher education in general and for Sunstone University specifically?
See, everybody is going to face the same challenge. Now, to be able to end and ecology, that is the biggest challenge. And are we going to now, going further, after this pandemic, which is a big eye opener for everyone, going further, is industry, education, business, government, everyone going to work in a coordinated manner so that we do not bring more harm to our planet? Sustainability, sustainable growth, all this has to be now thought about. We need to think about all this. We need to work on all this.
Right.
See, last night itself there were tremors.
Yes.
So we are already facing the wrath of nature. So we have to now get harmonized with things. We just cannot think about, just making profit for the shareholders or looking only at your stakeholders. We have to look at so many other things. And as I told you earlier, faculty, research, publications, curriculum development, and teaching methodology, all these would of course remain challenges. So we need to now evolve. And earlier we never found virtual, modes of learning to be given any weightage. And the pandemic taught us that this was 100% the mode of learning for the past 1 year. So now it's a blend, and the new normal now has to be incorporated.
Right.
So a lot of changes, and we need to be adaptable.
Absolutely. So sustainability is something that has to be
That
kept.
is something, yes, everybody's got to address that.
And the
Right from the Golgappa wala on the street to the president or prime minister, everyone has to address that.
Absolutely, sir. The people who realize the value of following a sustainable model and moving towards sustainability have become the richest people on planet now,
Yes,
because they knew that sustainability is the need of the hour.
is going to be the next big thing because they could see devastation everywhere.
Absolutely. Great. Now, our last question for the interview and for this interaction. Even though I want to, keep this one going on, I'm getting to learn a lot from your ideas and your views, and I resonate so much. I would want to definitely catch up sometime so that we can have a better and a longer discussion. But I have only one more question for today, and that is, any suggestions you would like to give to the current youth and the aspiring students?
See, my suggestions to aspiring students and the youth: look for things that you can do for others. If you're going to become a manager, don't think you are becoming a manager for yourself. You're actually becoming a manager for others. So look to serve to the best of your ability. Be ready to serve. Don't think of yourself as a boss. Nobody is a boss. The boss, the definition has changed. The boss should be the best worker.
Right.
Okay, so they need to now look for ways and means where they can start giving and doing. And let me tell you, once they do this, they'll keep getting. So don't look at what you can get. Don't look at, I want this. I will do this. I'm doing this. I will do this. I can do this. Do it. And get will be taken care of. And it will come from so many directions, they won't, even realize that it's come from so many directions. So they've got to work on this. And that is why they should look at their best talent, utilize that to give their best output, and then the world is theirs. They don't have to look back. So don't do something you don't enjoy doing. Don't do something you don't do well, because then what you give is not going to be the best.
Right. So
that's my advice.
And that's a very valuable advice. I think each and every student, right from school to whatever level they achieve in their lives, everyone remains a student. Everyone, all of us,
correct, lifelong learner.
Yeah,
that's what we are. And never compare yourself to anyone. You are unique. Your journey is your journey. Your competition is only with your own incompetence.
Right.
So that's it. That's my message to them.
Fantastic, sir. I hope all the students who are watching this have had an opportunity to learn from the views that sir has. And I just hope that this actually helps them in making an informed decision when they're choosing Sunstone University. I'm glad that we had this interaction, because any student looking at any XYZ college will not be able to understand the value system and the vision of the people who are actually running the system. Now that you've shared, and now that we know what you have in mind and what you want your students to become, all the students who will be looking at this video will have a better idea of what they can expect from Sunstone University and the people running it.
I'd be glad, yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll end this interview here. Thank you so much. Thank you, the entire team College Dunia. Thanks you for taking out time and speaking to us. It actually means a lot. And we wish Sunstone University the best of luck.
So it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me here. and I wish the very best to the College Dunia team.
Thank you so much, sir.